Welcome to the Chris and Sam podcast. Pull up a bar stool and join us for a random conversation, guaranteed to make you think or your money back.
Hello and welcome to episode 62 of the Chris and Sam podcast. My name's Sam.
And I'm Chris.
Welcome. We are in the middle of the silly season right now. Last episode was Christmas Eve update. This one will be New Year's Day is when we recorded this.
Yeah, so it is New Year's Day. What did you do for New Year's Eve, Sam?
Nothing.
Neither did I. I got woken up at midnight because a couple of people text me. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I was just fast asleep.
Why you don't put your phone on silent, I don't know.
I didn't even think. I didn't even consider it. I didn't think anybody would do that. I don't know why I didn't think that. But anyway. So, yeah, no, I went to bed about 9:30, 10 o'clock, I guess. So, yeah, woohoo. It's 2016. I'm overwhelmed.
Yep, I'm amped about 2016, but we'll talk about that in a minute. First off, we better cover off Christmas. And,
what are we going to talk about Christmas? You did a lot of stuff, eh?
I've been all over the place. I've been to Rotorua, and then I came back, and I worked either side of Christmas. Good things like that, and saw the family, which was good. Got a whole bunch of presents, some more random than others. I've got a new lunchbox now, which is
awesome. We'll put through a photo of Sam with his latest prezzies, random stuff. In fact, we might do a caption and green screen this.
Yep, Chris is keen on that.
Competition on there. So we'll watch the Facebook for that update and probably be there before this podcast is open, maybe.
Yes, so make sure to check us out on Facebook or the website, thechrisandsampodcast.com. And last week we asked what was a random Christmas gift that you got. We still would like to hear about that. As I'm talking, I'm sitting in my pumpkin onesie.
He's got a pumpkin onesie and it's hilarious. It's really hard to take him seriously. I just took the photo of him with his pumpkin onesie and his fluoro giant lunchbox.
12 litres of awesome in my lunchbox.
Yeah.
It's a chili bin, actually.
It's a chili bin. It looks like something that should either have biohazard stickers on, or he's delivering an organ,
some
kidney
sort of
or
organ,
something.
Yep.
But yeah, it's awesome. So that's going to be a photo. We'll put. I'm going to green screen, crop it out, and you can put it on whatever scenario you want, and then put a caption on it, and we'll...
Sounds good.
Yeah, that'll be quite fun. But yeah, so my Christmas, I was going to play Dead Island Riptide for the whole Christmas, but I did actually get called away. I went to see... Oh no, Kim got dropped off here, that's right, and we had a chat. You and I caught up with Kim.
Yes.
And then I ended up taking her... I thought I was taking her back to her mum's place where she's staying.
That's what I thought.
But no, I ended up taking to her brother's place and then putting up a big... gazebo thing, but it's a really big gazebo thing, and they're putting it on the decks, which was not big enough.
That's a bit of a problem. I always have trouble putting gazebos on my dick.
On their deck.
Oh, deck, okay.
Sam's had a beer, so obviously he's, his anyway, his ears are drunks. So anyway, we had to shorten it. Anyway, it was a long, difficult thing. Got that sorted, and then dropped Cadell back off, and then came back and jumps back on the computer. And I still logged, I think, 10 hours. Oh, no, and I stopped in and saw the Lush Monster in Moy.
Oh, did you? How was the Lush Monster?
Just because I was going past their place on the way back and saw the car was there, and I pulled in and knocked on. They were on playing computer games. That's what Christmas is all about.
Apparently.
It really is. So, I came back and still managed to clock up 10 hours that day.
Well, that's a pretty good effort then.
On Riptide, I think. Yeah, so I was pretty pleased with that. So what was your Christmas like?
It was good. I think we already covered that.
Okay, then.
No, I mean, it's caught up with family and stuff. It wasn't...
Yeah.
Just Christmas Day with the family. Nothing different, new, otherwise.
Yeah, okay.
And so it was all good. We've been playing a couple of board games lately.
Yes, so Kim got, what's it called? Catan.
Settlers of Catan.
Settlers of Catan. And so I'd never played it before. I went and played. It was really funny because I went over there. She said she'd teach me how to play it. was me, Kim, and her mum. Her mum won the first game. I won the second game. Kim lost both games. So
I love how you have to state that Kim lost both games.
Well, I came second this first time, and then her mum came second the second game, and
completely
Kim
lost.
Came like nowhere both times. And yeah, I do have to do that because then Sam went back with me, and so 4 of us played, and I was the only one that didn't win a game. So I totally got decimated. But yeah. Settlers of Catan, really cool game. I quite enjoyed it. Very strategic. See, I really suck at Risk. I was really bad at Risk.
I've never played Risk.
I can't handle it. So Settlers of Catan, I found way easier. I'm not a huge fan of the other one that you've got. Was it Carcassonne? Carcassonne. It was okay, but it was just, I don't know. It was a bit meh for me. But yeah, even though I won the first game I played, but yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I think that one would actually be a bit better with 4 people, to be honest.
Yeah, true. And I think, I don't know. I think because it all depends, on the cards and stuff. And I guess I haven't played it enough to get used to it.
Yeah, I think you need to play it some more, and we're playing with my daughter as well.
There is a revival in board games now, isn't there? It does seem to be the case.
I don't know if it's... I don't know. I think they've always been there.
Yeah.
Although when I got Carcassonne, the guy at Mark 1, he did say... I follow them on Facebook, and he did say, my New Year's stock had just turned up, and it turned up early. He was expecting it to come later, and he said he got smashed in the board game stakes, and he said next week is the biggest week for board games for him, and he said if this order didn't come in, he'd hardly have anything for people to buy.
Why next week?
I don't know. It must just be the holiday thing and people getting new board games. I don't know.
How bizarre.
But that's...
Because you sort of... it's counterintuitive, right? Because you'd sort of think... I would think that you'd buy more board games in winter when you're not going outdoors. You know what I mean?
True.
I know there's the holiday thing. So obviously, you got to keep the kids happy because they're sitting at home and what the hell. I guess that is a thing. But you'd sort of think, winter and stuff would be more the board game buying stuff where you can't go outdoors as much.
Yeah, but I think it's probably late in the evening, having a few drinks, playing a few games.
Yeah, true. So, that's cool. And what was that other game you said we should get a go at? Flux, was it?
Flux, which is a card game.
Yep. So, cool. Be keen to have a crack at that. If any of you guys out there listening have any board game recommendations for us,
let us know.
Yeah, because I might give it a go. Check a few things out. Hey, did you ever watch any of Will Wheaton's board game review thing?
No, I see it come up. I see it on YouTube and all that, but I've never watched any of them.
I've seen one of them. It was just brilliant. It was awesome, and a couple of those games were pretty cool. But that was a while ago. So anyway, so that's our board game stuff. We're doing a revival. Actually, it's almost like new stuff for us, but it's old stuff for everybody else. Well, in terms of each other, I have been introduced to, drum roll, Southpark.
Oh yes. Yeah.
So I haven't actually really ever watched Southpark. I watched a couple of them when it first came out, 5-7 years ago, whatever, I don't know. And I was like, well, that's pretty crap, because just the animation, I think.
Yeah.
And so I just never watched it. Never was that interested in it. Might have caught the odd part of a program or something, but never really watched it. Sam's been right into it, and he's been talking about the last couple of episodes, which are very satirical on current themes. And I must stress, these are not the ones you watch on TV. These are the ones that are out there overseas right now, because New Zealand's 10 years behind everybody else.
I think we're about 2 or 3 seasons behind.
Yeah. So by the time the satirical stuff arrives here, nobody will remember what the hell they were talking about.
No.
But anyway, so I've watched half a dozen of those in the last couple of days, and very good. I am very impressed.
I love how surprised he is at how good they were.
Oh yeah,
I think he's a bit skeptical.
Awesome. Oh yeah, totally. And on the other hand, Sam has just bought this morning Left 4 Dead 2, which is a perennial favourite of mine. It's a huge multiplayer co-op game.
Zombie shooter.
Yeah, zombie shooter for the computer. And we're going to actually have a crack at this for the first time. after
we record this.
After this recording of the podcast.
Thanks to the Steam sale, it was 80% off, so it cost me $4.80 instead of $24.
I pre-ordered that.
Yeah, that sounds like something you would do.
Back in the day, James Batty, we used to play it all the time, and so he took me into pre-ordering it. That was quite sad, really, because he pre-ordered a couple of things and didn't live to see the launch.
Yeah.
That sucks, man. That sucks so bad. And it still freaks me out a little bit because he gave his Steam password to his brother. Yeah. And every now and again, James Batty will jump on.
Oh,
like,
wow. Yeah.
Particularly initially. That was weird. But anyway, we're trying a few old things which will be new for us. Does that make us old guys?
Sort of. Makes you older.
But Christmas has been interesting from the other point of view, like from a real negative, and because I just brought up the topic of death. Freaking death tolls, man. Amount of people dying in car crashes and drowning and everything. What's wrong with people?
It's I don't know. The road toll one's a bit strange around here because what's happened is they've opened up the new expressway.
Yep. And
because you can drive at 100 basically non-stop for a long time, as soon as they get onto the old roads, they're just pushing it too much and crashing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they reckon that's what the thing is?
That's what's happening for some of the roads around the Waikato. They're just carrying on the fast speed and just being idiots. Nationwide, I think there's just idiots everywhere.
Yeah.
And you've got the tourists thrown in rental cars that are driving on the wrong side of the roads. They're not helping matters.
Yeah, that bus crash in Arthur's Pass is recent news for us here, and that's been pretty significant.
Pretty full on. They're quite lucky that a lot of people...
Jeez, those guys are really lucky.
A lot of the people that turned up first on the scene are nurses and doctors and all sorts of medical stuff.
Oh, wow.
Which always seems to be the way here in New Zealand. If you ever come across a car crash or you hear of one, there's always an off-duty nurse or doctor or off-duty policeman.
Yeah,
just happens to be coming through.
Well, because have you done many road trips with Adam? I've been in the car.
No,
with Adam.
I've never done a road trip with Adam.
Oh, surely we went up to Kevin Smith, didn't we?
Not with Adam. Chris Williams drove us.
Oh, okay.
And then when we went to Tropfest, me and
you. Adam was with us that time.
No.
Oh, okay.
He met us there. Remember, because he was staying at Sky City for a booty call.
So anyway, I've driven up to Auckland a couple of times with Adam, and he gets to the cops are there, or you can see lights in the distance, and he goes, "Oh no, please don't be an accident," because he's because he's a doctor, he has to stop, and it's like, oh no, here we go, no, or it's a minor accident, nobody's hurt or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, they've got it under control, carry on. But it's just interesting. I would never have thought of that, except that he's in the car, and it's happened a couple of times when we've driven.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So,
as for the drowning, that's a tough one. I don't know. People can't. But the thing, I was thinking about this the other day. They used to play those ads on TV all the time. Spot the rip.
Yeah.
And you don't get anything now.
No, they don't. And I don't know. The government doesn't spend money on that sort of stuff. I mean, we were just talking about, it was something earlier on LinkedIn about a friend of mine, Luigi Capel, did a post about Relay for Life, and he got diagnosed with cancer.
Is he that bald guy?
Yeah.
And I've met him.
Yeah, he got diagnosed with cancer, and he was talking about what the Cancer Society did for him. You know, you want to find out all the stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah,
all the
makes
information
sense.
comes from the Cancer Society.
Yep.
It's not government-funded in any way, shape, or form. It's entirely donation-based.
Yep.
And that's why, he does the Relay for Life for the last few years, and I've done it for heaps.
Yeah.
And it just amazes me that they provide probably more service to people than anybody else in that situation.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
They're entirely charity funded.
I didn't realise they were like that. I know just what's today? This week, Raglan Surf Club got a anonymous donation of $25,000 just to keep them going a bit longer.
Yeah, and there was the other one I was going to say. Yeah, and the other one's surf lifesaving. So who helps, swimmers more than surf lifesaving in New Zealand, really?
Yeah.
There's nobody. And again, they're, as far as I understand, they're 100% voluntary charity.
Yep. Okay, St. John's.
Oh, really? Oh, of course.
Same thing.
Yeah,
They run most of the ambulance services in the country.
Yeah.
I think the only other one's Wellington Free ambulance service.
And you start talking about this sort of thing, you go, hang on, what does the government spend money on
rescue
again?
helicopters. They're bloody sponsored by Westpac, and they got...
Yeah, it's charity.
Bizarre. I don't know what the government does.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
and
crazy.
I don't know... I don't know, it's bizarre. Like, do they just say, look, if we fund one of them, everyone's going to go, why aren't you funding us? So we just have a blanket rule? Or is they just... I don't know. I'd love to know more about that, actually.
Yeah. It is curious. I don't know. And is that just New Zealand? Do they do that in other countries, or what's the story?
I'm not 100% sure, but I do know there's talk about what they do in America. They may want to do here, because in America the fire services are also the ambulance services, and they switch the people around. Yep. And they were thinking maybe that could be something they could do here. Sort of combine some of the things. And I did see that for a lot of the volunteer firefighters in a MTA publication I saw randomly, they have a combination fire truck and ambulance now. And it looks like it's either a Mercedes-Benz giant van, or it's one of those type of things. And the front bit's got like a 700-litre water tank built under the floor with a little tiny pump. And then in the back it looks like an ambulance. And that's what they're going to do for a lot of the volunteer places now. Yeah,
which makes sense when it's only a small village or whatever that they're looking after. But, if they're out in a rural thing and they have a decent crash with, a couple of head-ons, we've seen a few of those in the last 2 weeks, then, if you've got six victims, one of those ain't going to really cut it, is it? You know what I mean?
No.
But it's better than nothing. So and talking about that, you came across a story that was interesting this week about a chopper pilot who got convicted for something or other.
Yeah, so I think it was down south. I want to say down south because they all seem to have helicopters down there.
Yeah.
They couldn't rescue this guy off the mountain. This guy said basically,
So what happened with him? Did he get lost or did he fall? Or
I think he broke his leg and he was stuck on a mountainside. That's what I want to say.
Gotcha.
We'll link to the story in the show notes so you can actually read what actually happened. The guy had he didn't get medical clearance to fly the helicopter, so he was the passenger in this helicopter. Yep. The person next to him couldn't attempt the rescue. He took over and says, I'll do it. And he did it, saved this guy. And him and the guy both said, I don't think he would have survived another night if he had to stay out in the open.
And nobody else could have got to him because the weather was closing in and they were the only option for him.
Apparently so, yes.
Yeah.
So that was okay.
So they saved the guy.
And then WorkSafe New Zealand, I think it was, which is OSH now.
Yeah.
That's their name. They took him to court and said, you shouldn't have done that. You didn't have medical clearance to fly. The guy that got saved said, don't take him to court. He saved my life. So they took him to court anyway. A lot of people said he should have just got charged without conviction.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He got found guilty.
Oh, he did get convicted. Whoa.
Oh.
I don't know because I never heard the story. I knew it was coming up. I just didn't know if they got to that point.
I actually have the story here. I really should read it, eh?
Yeah, let's deal with some facts for a change on the Chris and Sam podcast.
Oh, we're all about facts here, guys, non-stop. We fact-check everything. We have a whole department actually working out the back right now. That it's hard for them to keep up with what we're researching. Actually, did we give them a Christmas present this year? I can't remember.
Well, I know I didn't.
I just went to the Stuff website and the breaking news is a 20-year-old's just drowned in the Bay of Plenty. So another one. Just then.
Man. That's about 10 in the last, 2 weeks or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something like
easy.
that.
It was mega. This guy got convicted on 3 charges of breaching civil aviation rules and fined $5,800.
Yeah, so, saving lives and being a good Samaritan, folks, doesn't pay.
He actually got originally grounded because they thought he had a mini stroke mid-flight. That's why he didn't get medical clearance anymore.
I get it, but he was piloting and had a co-pilot there that could take over if anything went wrong.
Yes, as far as I understand.
Yeah.
So the guy he saved started a crowdfunding thing for him to raise money to pay the fine. And the fine was whatever I just said, 5,700.
Yeah.
They already made 21,000 last time I read.
Oh, wow.
Because, everyone can understand.
Oh, right.
But Civil Aviation obviously wanted to make a
point. I mean, I get it in terms of, a rule is a rule or a law is a law, and you actually have to treat the law in the, like black and white. You don't, there isn't the greys. I get that, but there is still that the judge has that capacity to go, right, totally wrong. I'm going to say you are charged and you are wrong, but I'm not going to uphold a conviction which might affect your future license and livelihood, which is stupid. But anyway, okay.
It is stupid.
All right, do you want to jump onto the Hoyts rant?
Yes, rant time, Christian.
Rant time. Rant time. Okay.
Yes, just this morning, just a couple of hours ago, I went and saw the Peanuts movie. It came out today. I took my daughter. It was okay. You'd have to like Peanuts to watch this movie. I've actually got two things to do with this Peanuts story. We brought some food from the supermarket, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, I got a large container of popcorn from Hoyts. Now, that sets me back $9.
Yep.
And medium's $8. So I was like, I'll spend the extra $1 and get this giant thing of popcorn because I'm sure we'll eat it. So I started eating it, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's all right. It was super salty. Like, after a while, I was like, this isn't right. This is so salty. If I keep eating this, it's going to cause me problems. And my daughter had some, and she goes, oh, yeah, it's a bit salty. But she's almost 8. What does she know? So I was eating some more, and I was like, nah, this isn't right. And there was no way I could finish it. And I was thinking, and the movie hadn't started. We were sitting there early. And I said, look, we're going to go back, and I'm going to take this back. And she was like, oh, okay. So we went back, and I just said, look, this is really salty, like ridiculously salty. Now, if anyone knows me, I hardly ever complain about things. Like,
not officially.
Yes, thank you. I hardly ever complain about something to the point that I go back for a refund or return something.
Yeah.
It has to be pretty bad for me to do that, to think in my brain, hey, this isn't right.
Yeah.
People would go back for lesser things, right? So I said to the guy, this is ridiculously salty. So he looks at it and he takes like a little handful and he goes, that tastes about right. That's about right. And I was like, no. So that was okay. And then he's stuffing around on the computer. Because I didn't actually say I wanted a refund. I just said, look, this is ridiculous. I said, this is ridiculously salty. I don't want it. And he didn't say, do you want something else? Or do you want a refund or anything? He just started playing around on his computer. And then he jumped to the other computer. And then I finally went over there. And in the meantime, he tells the other guy what had happened. So the other guy starts moving all the popcorn around in their massive bin. Like, because obviously, I assume he just poured salt on top and then never actually did what he was doing then.
Stirred it up.
Yeah. And then the guy's like taking a ridiculously long amount of time on this computer. And basically what he did was, he goes, oh, your refund's ready. And the refund was $8.70. Because apparently I must have eaten 30 cents worth of popcorn.
Oh.
So
that's awesome.
I'm thinking, what a tosser. But I couldn't be bothered arguing the point, so I just went through with it. But, how much does a bucket of popcorn cost him? Like, if I paid $9, it must have cost him 50 cents to make it. So anyway, that's what happened there. And then the movie theater was ridiculously cold, like really cold.
Yeah.
But what they did was they showed a trailer for the new Ice Age movie coming up.
Yep.
And the company that made the Ice Age movie also made the Peanuts movie. So the lights went dark, and it starts up like it's the feature film, and you start watching an Ice Age trailer again. And it's the same trailer we've just seen, but with an extra 5 minutes of footage jammed in between. So we're sitting there, and there's this old lady come to watch the Peanuts film, getting rather confused at what's going on, because it starts with credits and everything. And it said it's a Sid, it's a small Sid story, the sloth guy.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Scat. Sorry, Scrat. The thing that gets the acorns. Actually,
yeah.
And she turns around 5 minutes into this thing and says to the woman behind us, what movie are we watching? And the woman had to say, we are watching Peanuts. It's just because when this little short finishes, it's got credits as well.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back and talking about tight companies and people and that. Worst person I ever worked for probably was Neil. I won't say his last name.
Yeah.
He owned Cobb & Co in Chartwell. And back in the day, Chartwell was the only pub up that end of town.
It
was. And so I worked in the bar, and we had an old guy, Bill, used to come in, and he used to, I think he was retired and he had a bit of money and stuff, and he used to play the pokies like almost every day, and he'd just drink the old dark beer, and he'd drink, half a dozen every day of the week.
Yeah.
So do you know what a customer like that is worth to like a bar? It's ridiculous.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
It's huge. And he gets on well with everybody. It was pretty cool. And he'd bring some friends and family around every now and again and stuff like that. And Neil would every year, without fail, would buy him a glass of beer at Christmas.
Ooh. Yep.
And that was it. You
that's
can't
what you
do anything else. And I remember the power went down. And the power went down for 3 hours. Obviously nothing that we can control.
No.
So Bill sort of complained and said to Neil, hey, look, I've got money in that machine.
Oh,
and I can't get my money out. And he goes, fill in the forms. We gave it to everybody. There's a couple of other people on there.
Yeah.
And we'll get it back to you and stuff when it all comes right. And he goes, well, can you buy me a beer? And so he had a big argument about him and finally gave him a beer.
Yeah.
Now, the cost of draft beer is not that great.
No, I can't imagine it would be.
And the benefits of having somebody come in and pay for it day
Yeah.
after day after day after day. So bottom line was, as soon as there was competition to Cobb & Co., he lost all his customers.
Oh,
and he went back to the pet food business, which is where he made his money.
Oh, right. Interesting. The other thing that's weird is people in sales positions, the stuff they do to help out their customers or to keep them and things they give them, and it's just crazy.
You think it's weird or cool?
Oh, it's cool if you're the customer. It's not cool if you're the scummy bloody worker that's bending over backwards to help do all this stuff and you don't get anything.
Okay. Elaborate.
No, there's not much to elaborate. It's just sometimes you get treated like shit as an employee.
Yeah.
And the customer, who I can understand why you want to keep them, but sometimes just it's mental.
Oh, so there are some customers you shouldn't keep. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know, but it's when you're in that industry or any industry and you see what some customers get and some don't.
Yeah,
it's pretty unfair.
Oh, totally.
And
from that Cobb & Co., I went then to work for Kevin Fraser at the Tarapa Tavern, and the difference was night and day. And they had a hospo book, and you could give away anything for any reason to anyone at any time as long as you put it in the hospo book.
Yeah. Oh,
cool. And there would be, and he goes, well, Chris, you've been here a month and you haven't given anything away. What's going on?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
it'll be foreign to you, though.
Yeah. And it was so different. And he was, very well liked by the vast majority of the patrons. I mean,
awesome.
We're talking about Tarapa Tavern, so there was a lot of people with chips on the shoulder didn't like anyone.
Yeah, it'd be a tough crowd out there.
Yeah. But there was, he was really, really well liked. He was a great boss too. And, we had the odd party there. So we'd have, one of us would have a birthday and we'd close up shop, and the hospo book would take a bit of a hammering. And the worst that ever happened, I think, was it was like, okay, nothing goes in the hospo book for a couple of days for the staff, or a week or two for the staff, because we hammered it a bit.
Yeah.
Occasionally. But night and day between Neil and Kevin there.
So talking about jobs, you've been and spoken to the lovely people at Wins?
Yeah, actually, I don't even know why I bothered putting that down.
I don't know either.
Because,
that's it. Chris went and spoke to Wins.
New Year's Eve. That was my highlight of New Year's Eve, was going to Wins' office in the morning, and it worked because there was only one person in front of me. So I went in, and so I just may need some help paying my rent in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, don't worry about that.
That's all that is. Yeah, so but hopefully I'll get this job I've applied for, but they won't be till Feb, so I've got to make sure I've got the rent and bills paid in the meantime.
Moving on to New Year's resolutions. What's your resolutions? Mine's just being more awesome. That covers it all.
I haven't really got any.
I never usually have any, but I think this year's going to be pretty epic.
Yeah, I think this year will be good. I want to do some stuff with the movies this year. Like last year, I was a bit more. Yeah, actually, I was really focused on Only Humane.
Yeah,
but this time I want to do.
I'm still waiting to get paid for that. I think.
You what?
Have I been paid for that yet?
Oh, maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah, I want my $1.
So a lot of the people didn't get their dollars. Some of them did, but nobody else, because nobody said anything. So I thought, right, I'm not going to bother. Only Humane, I've got a little bit of work to do with that. I've got to get the website done. Anybody very good at posters, please let me know. I'm supposed to get this poster done. I've got a background image, and I've got some other images I think that we can layer in there and that. I am totally challenged when it comes to graphics.
The only person I can think of off the top of my head that may be able to help is Louise.
Louise Hutt?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She does that sort of stuff.
Oh, I didn't know
I think.
Oh, cool.
And her office is just up the road. So.
Yeah, no, I keep bumping into her. Not literally, because she's so small she'd bounce off me. But yeah, no. So, yeah, okay. But anybody listening who wants to have a crack at that, help us out with a poster. That would be really cool. Anyway, moving on. So, yeah, that's really it. I'm going to work on my own scam screenplay. I really want to get that done.
I thought you were going to say your own scam projects where I'm scamming money out of people.
No, I've got a screenplay, and it's called Scam. Because, so that's it. And I will be doing a little bit of acting in the next couple of weeks again on West Side next week. And, yeah, I think I'll have some more stuff coming up too.
Very cool. Obviously, if you want to keep up with what we're doing, you need to find us on Twitter, Chris and Sam Pod.
And don't forget to subscribe to the Chris and Sam podcast on your favourite podcasting app.
Yes, and if you somehow manage to find us on iTunes, it'd be cool if you could give us some sort of rating.
Preferably a good one.
Preferably, but I'm happy with any rating, to be honest. Just press a few buttons.
Yeah, and a review. That'd be nice.
You can do it.
So the chrisandsampodcast.com is where you'll find the show notes. You'll see the photos and whatnot that we've mentioned, links to stories and what have you. And you can also find us on Facebook, and that's where I think I might put that competition.
Yep, check it out.
We'll
see what you can do. I'm about to get out of this pumpkin onesie because I'm quite warm, and we're going to play some Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, we're going to kill us some zombies.
Sounds good. Until next time, I'm Sam.
And I'm Chris.
See
Bye.
ya.
Hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll catch you next week. Don't forget to tell your friend.